Welcome, everyone, to another edition of the Wrestling Underground podcast. I am your host, as always, Chad Porto, and joining me is the glorious one himself, Marcus Green. Marcus.
Yes, sir. Going okay on this fine Monday night.
Monday, gotta get back up Monday. I miss 2012 when people like Rebecca Black could make music. Do I? No, maybe. I don't know. 2012, though, was a good year for Ring of Honor. Was it? I don't remember. Ring of Honor just kind of blurs together. That may have been one of the years where El Generico and Kevin Steen beat the shit out of each other. Maybe. What we do know is that in 2022, it exists. Kind of. They're literally AEW light. They literally are using the Ring of Honor, I'm sorry, not the Ring of Honor, the AEW roster to put on most of their shows. Most of the Ring of Honor wrestlers are on AEW television. And I honestly don't know what they're doing with the brand anymore. Wait, Jeff Cobb was on the show this past weekend?
Yeah.
All right. That was unexpected. So they're doing all sorts of nonsense, and they got so many guys who just aren't even being used, and guys who are being used but aren't being used properly. I'm not rooting for AEW's downfall. I don't expect AEW's downfall. I'm just saying that they've got to do a better job utilizing these guys, and I feel like what they're doing isn't working. I feel like that's not a hot take at this point. I feel like we're pretty much all in agreement. There's a lot of nonsense going on. I think they need to trim the fat. But they're not doing that. Instead, they're launching a second brand, Ring of Honor. Purchased last year, developed in Philly. Or was it purchased this year? I don't even remember. I don't care anymore. It is a dead story. But Khan has done some interesting things with Ring of Honor. I like the new logo. It's very good. They brought back the old belts. Brilliant decision. But they're putting guys like Chris Jericho and Claudio Castagnoli in the main events. Claudio's 43. Jericho's 102. Been super spreading since 1992. So I feel like we don't really have a clue what this brand is going to be outside of a Ring of Honor vanity project. Because we have Samoa Joe, and you would think, yeah, Ring of Honor guys on Ring of Honor. All right, but no Bryan Danielson. Oh, all right. And all the Ring of Honor guys they have are like in their 40s. So clearly you don't have a long-term roster for there. And they're really hammering home with certain feuds that just aren't clicking. I'm sorry. I don't care about Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia. That sounds like the lineup of the Cleveland Guardians in 2026. I don't care. Y'all have no personality. If I were to flip over a mattress, it'd be the same mattress. And that's what I feel like looking at these two numbnuts. Doesn't matter if they're Wheeler Yuta or Daniel Garcia. I just see the same pair of nuts. Let me rephrase that. Same pair of numbnuts looking back at one another. Like there's no personality. And they've been feuding for the last 30 fucking weeks. And who's Daniel Garcia anyway? He's off-brand Ricky Starks. He's off-brand, what's the Sammy Guevara? He's a good worker kid. Oh, is he? Oh, hey, Impact signed one of them. Fuck, I don't care. You could be the best. It's 2022. We're done with the worker era. It's about the personalities. I'm showing up for the Danhausens these days. I've seen enough of the worker shit. You burned me out on the matches, folks. I want 1989 WWF 6-minute matches, and I'm out. Personality over performance. Then, now, forever. I don't care about these kids, man. They're the same person in different, slightly altered. It's the same. I feel the same way about the young men in Ring of Honor and AEW as I do about the women in WWE. Marcus, they all wear the same gear. They all wear the same eye makeup. They all do the same things with their hair. I swear to God, it's like watching WWE in circa 2008 rollout, Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Ted DiBiase wearing the same haircut.
I love it. My co-host is the new, more logical Heyman. There are no new wrestlers. They're a bunch of skins.
They are. Like
skins.
Like Stephanie figured out how to take like those creepy crawler creators. Remember those things? You pour a little paint in the little thing and stick them in the little oven. She figured out how to do that with people, and then she made an entire women's division with that.
Hilarious.
Like Ronda Rousey looks like Becky Lynch, who looks like Dakota Kai, who looks like Slomo Sloman, who looks like Habada, and they all have the same name. It's all some kind of weird, vague, slightly interesting name with some weird, lame, slightly uninteresting last name. And I don't know what we're doing anymore. Like, my goodness. Like, look at Impact. Impact has a roster of women that I don't get confused on because NXT has like, what, 4 or 5 women with the same fucking name? Like Dakota Kai, Kylie Ray. You got, apparently, who's the hugger? What's her name? Kylie something or other. Like, it's all the same, like Kylie, Smiley, Filey, Kai. It's like, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? And then, like, who's the chick that just debuted in AEW before Paige? Tony Storm.
Tony Storm, yeah.
With an I.
Then, yeah, now NXT did recently acquire Abaddon.
Wait, Abaddon is going to NXT? Is that for real?
Yeah, she pretty sure that's who that Abaddon NXT. Wait a minute. Who was that? I think this is where you're really right about these people having the same. For somebody, let's see. Okay.
Yep, I'm looking forward to.
Mandy Rose versus, what is it? Kylie Ray, the one with the.
Kylie Ray is the smiley one who basically burned every bridge she had.
Okay, who was this chick that debuted? Isla Dawn. There it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, that's another one. Isla. In our quest to have such unique names, we're really fucking around here. Like, think about it. One of the most successful wrestlers in the 1980s was named Jake and Roberts. But they gave him Jake the Snake, and it made him into a household name. Like, Hulk Hogan's named after the Incredible Hulk and Paul Hogan. Hulk Hogan. I feel like we're going too over the top with some of these names. Let's see. We're gonna look up some of these NXT names because right now I'm a bit miffed because these names fucking confuse me. And what is Seth Rollins' hair doing? I don't like it. No. Gross. I didn't realize that Damage Control was the NXT Women's Champions. All right, here we go. Katana Chance and Caden Carter. What?
Hey, Caden, call me.
I'll
get you a new name.
Caden Green. Okay, so we're going to go through some of these women's names. Alba Fire. I dig that. I don't know who that is, but I dig that. Alicia Taylor. She's clearly some type of backstage host. So I'm not going to criticize her, but like generic. Amari Miller. Ava Rain, the Rock's daughter. I don't know. That just sounds like you're a Mortal Kombat off-brand character. Like she is the orange offsuit of Melina, Katana, and Jade. Ava Rain, the sister of Rain and Smoke, the ninjas. Here we go. Here's another dumb one. Cora Jade. Are these fucking porn stars? Like, Jesus Christ. Gigi Dolan. That's not too bad. Electra Lopez. Like, I feel like this is a name generator and like someone's ribbing us. Because I can't right now. Indy Hartwell. JC Jane. Like these are just some bonkers ass names. Kiana James.
I was waiting for you to follow JC Dane with Do-Si Do.
See, all right, now here's a solid one. Lash Legend. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like all right, when you see like Katana or not Katana, but like Kaden, Mandy, Nikita, Roxanne, Thea, Tatum, Tiffany. I feel like these are just chicks on Instagram. Like I'm not wrong. You can disagree with me, but you're wrong. Zoe. Like, come on. These aren't wrestler names. But some of the men aren't better. We know that. We know the men's names aren't better. We've been talking about this 40 years. You got Grayson. I still am not 100% convinced that Grayson Waller isn't actually Austin Theory. I'm pretty sure they're the same person. You have Dante and Cameron. I swear to God, you people need to learn how to fucking pick your names. And then like you have the worst in the wrong direction where it's too dumb. Where you have Braun Brecker, and then you have Brutus and Julius Creed, Damon Kemp. I feel like we stopped trying at that point. Like we got the tryhards and the tryharders. They're just everywhere. But some of them are pretty good. Ikeman Jiro, like that's pretty unique. I'll never remember his face, but like yeah. That's a solid name. Then you have like Elton Prince. Really? Elton John and Prince. Like really? Jagger Reed. I feel like that dude beat up like everyone in high school, right? Jagger. You jag off. Kit Wilson. God damn, these are some Malik Blade. No, you're not named Blade. No, stop it. Marcus.
Malik.
How could you let this happen? As the representative of the black community on the show, how could you let this happen?
As soon as you said Malik, I was like, yep, that's a brother.
Then you got fucking Robbie E., Mr. Stone, Nathan Frazier. Oh, I feel like I'm watching Succession, and I've never watched Succession. And then you just have, like, I don't know if these three dudes are in a faction together, but Odyssey Jones, R.O. Mensah, and Quincy Elliott. Why? All right, but I'm not sure if this is a good one or not. Marcus, help me out here. Is this a good one? Rip Fowler. Is that a good one?
I don't know who the hell that is, but
I don't know either, but he looks like he's
that's either a good wrestler name or a good one for a coach, a football coach or something.
Yep. He looks like the guy that if you ever tell your kids to never go to the van of, it'd be his van.
Hilarious.
Solaruka. That's not bad. Tatum Paxley. Thea Hale. Like, these are just some bad names. And, like, some of them have great looks. Like, Thea Hall looks great. Tiffany Stratton looks great. Valentina Feroz looks fantastic. Wendy Chu, not the greatest name, but her look stands out. And then, like, here you go. You have Wesley, who is just, terrible. And then on the other end of the terrible spectrum, because Wesley is like, oh, yeah, your name's Wesley? All right, we're just going to split that up. I don't know if that's actually Desmond Xavier's real name, but pretty much how I feel. But then on the other end of the spectrum, you have Zion Quinn. That feels like a drug you take for erectile dysfunction. Stop taking Zion Quinn if you experience anything like anal leakage.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you help him in the front, kill him in the back. Like, what?
But then you have Wolfgang. That's perfect. That's solid.
Love Wolfgang. And the Wolfgang and Gallus, yeah.
Gallus, is that his name?
No, because it's Wolfgang and the freaking whatchamacallit brothers from the UK.
The Coffees.
Yeah.
And that's the see. I don't know anything about Mark Coffey, but I do know more about Joe Coffey because Joe Coffey I think had Spawn Impact for a second. I want to say. Let me double check. Cover. Gotta get him.
Like the OGC, coughing. Arbok.
That's a great Arbok. I think it was Shikara that I saw him in.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, he only had a couple matches there. Not Impact. So no Impacto. Yeah, it was when Mustache Mountain hadn't been signed yet by WWE.
Yeah, that's interesting because Trent Seven just popped up in AEW.
You mean Trent 14?
Talking about the waist, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Mm.
JC Jane, Indy Hartwell. What the fuck are we doing? Ivy Niles, stop it! Oh, why can't wrestlers pick good names anymore? Marcus, I blame you.
For most of it, I mean, it's crazy because some of these guys get the options between a couple things.
So imagine the other ones. Like, think about like the best name outside of, because like I'll obviously say Dan Allen because I'm just a mark. But one of the best names going right now is Juice Robinson. It's got that perfect vibe of simple yet unique. And then you have Orange Cassidy. That works. But, you know, not all of them does. All right, so Ring of Honor's back. We had the Final Battle 2022. I did not see any of Final Battle 2022. I watched SmackDown, then I watched MLW's show from 2 weeks ago, although I didn't get to the main event.
Yeah.
With Richard Holiday and Alexander Hammerstone. Apparently, Richard Holiday has non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
So he's going to be out for a while. That's unfortunate. He does get to come home every day to Alicia Toot. So if they ever get married, she'll finally get a decent last name.
Wait a minute. She's no longer dating? Okay.
Who is she dating?
I thought she was dating one of the Rascals.
Like 4 years ago.
I want to say it was Trey.
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe she's not dating Holiday? Then again, I haven't seen anything about... So I just Googled Alicia Tuta boyfriend. I haven't seen anything about Trey Miguel and her past 2020 as a headline. COVID took everything.
That's a shirt, man. That's a shirt. COVID took everything.
Alicia Tude on her boyfriend Trey Miguel working her with recent title win. That was back in December 8th, 2020.
Yeah, because I vaguely remember that because somebody asked her, like, how often did she get hit on by some of the performers that she interviewed.
Let's see. Now I'm on a quest. Alicia Toot, Trey Miguel, breakup. Let's see what we got. I'm not seeing anything past.
I hope he didn't lose it in the Rascals divorce.
That would be funny. Yeah, everything I'm seeing is from like 18, 19, and 20.
I think it's gonna happen. People be together for damn near a decade and then break up all of a sudden. So.
Now I gotta find out. Let's see. Richard Holiday girlfriend? Come on, Google. Don't fail me. It says, but where's the link? Okay, well, this is good enough. Wrestling Headlines, I guess, is the name of the website. Holiday spoke with Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated this week. In reality, he has been diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 4. It's been a whirlwind. You never expect this to happen to you. I take pride in my health, so to get news like this was quite shocking. The 30-year-old Holiday has not wrestled since losing Well, I mean, I'm sorry, I already know the outcome of that match. He noted he began experiencing a bad case of night sweats in June while preparing for his match with Emerson, which was to pay off to their big feud, which solidified Holliday's rise as a top heel. However, plans for the push were halted due to Holliday's health. He revealed how he struggled to get through every day. He took Dayquil all the time. Holiday, let's just hit the button and go Alicia. I spelled Alicia wrong. There we go. It was reported earlier this year that that Holiday and real-life girlfriend Alicia too were signed a multi-year contract. It remains to be seen if they are still an item. So at least at one point they were. So that's what we got. Oh, here we go. 411 Mania. I trust them. As previously reported, WWE announced their new Performance Center class, which included the Rascals, Desmond McDavid, and Zachary Wentz. However, the third Rascal, Trey McGraw, was not included, according to the Wrestling Observer. It's not likely due to lack of interest from WWE. This has nothing to do with that. Hang on, maybe we can. Where the fuck was the other thing? Let's see. Trey is dating Alicia too. She is probably guiding him towards a singles career. Trey is no longer. They have been broken up for quite a while. I don't know. As an internet commentator, I'm gonna say that they have been broken up because honestly, I've seen nothing to say that they are together. So I guess her and Holiday are still together. I guess I don't know. But anyway, prayers and well wishes to Richard Holiday. What was I saying before then? Ring of Honor. So they don't have a television show. They have 100 fucking wrestlers, 4 pay-per-views a year, 78 titles, no fucking TV show. So Tony Khan rectified that, Marcus. He rectified it by relaunching Honor Club. For just $9.99 a month, you can now watch TV, pay-per-view, and new upcoming shows from Ring of Honor. The announcement was made during the afternoon filled with title changes. Claudio Castagnoli regained the ROH World title from Chris Jericho, Athena taking the ROH Women's title from Mercedes Martinez, the Briscoes defeating FTR for the tag titles, Wheeler Yuta defeating Daniel Garcia for the Pure Championship, as well as Gates of Agony defeating Dalton Castle and the Boys for the Ring of Honor 6-man titles. Fans can now sign up at Honor Club for just $9.99 a month by visiting watchringofhonor.com. It is accessible via the Ring of Honor app, iOS, Android, Roku, and Amazon Fire. Now, the Honor Club was what they were doing before AEW bought Ring of Honor. So since we've had AEW control Ring of Honor for about a year, to not have a TV deal, this seems to be how they're going about the TV situation. They're going to air it live via their premium subscriber service. I'm not going to ask the question, Marcus, are you going to sign up for Ring of Honor Club? Because I already know the answer is going to be fuck no. But do you think this is a solid alternative considering there's no TV deal coming for Ring of Honor?
I mean, you got to do something. And, I mean, as invested as people tend to be, I guess, in watching Dark and then obviously being the elite, I would imagine if they get the right names to be the champions and whatnot. I think they got that type of fan base that's, instantaneously loyal enough to watch all their content because they think they're the greatest thing in the world. So I think they're banking on their audience, which, is commendable. But I do think it says a lot about, what we talked about, the state of Ring of Honor kind of becoming an afterthought. Because a lot of times, once you're done watching it, and maybe this is just me, once you're done watching it live on TV, you don't necessarily care to maybe go over and flip to a different medium to do it. Or you just, you kind of done with wrestling for the minute. Because as much content is out in wrestling, you kind of need breaks. We talked about that too. Mm-hmm. But then again, like I said, they fan base, they watch everything. Dark, Dynamite, Dark Dynamite, Rampage, being the elite, Elevation or whatever, and everything else. So I just think that, y'all buy the merch, y'all buy the pay-per-views, you'll pay for the Ring of Honor too. So, and maybe they think it'll be more successful because it's on the AEW banner, the whole Honor Club thing. So
certainly has a bigger reach. Although I will say that Dark, Rampage, and Elevation. What was it?
Dark Elevation.
No. He said Dark Rampage, and no Dark Dynamite and Elevation Rampage are great My Hero names for a hero. You
I
got
want
Dark Dynamite,
perfect for Bakugo.
right? And then you have Elevation Rampage. Like those are great hero names.
Elevation Rampage. I mean, that could be a pseudonym for the Gigantomachia after what he did. Elevation. I don't know what All Might's mentor was, but considering her quirk was float, you could have called her Elevation.
There you go.
Yeah.
Could you call Deku Elevation Rampage?
Yeah.
He's going full ham hock. Marcus, Ring of Honor doesn't really have much of a roster at the moment that is exclusively theirs. Do you want to see Ring of Honor go super young, super old, somewhere in between? Because Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony are now the 6-man tag champs. Samoa Joe is the Ring of Honor champ. Claudio is the world champ. Those dudes are all close to or over 40. I don't know about Khan and Toa Leona. Let's see. Khan is no age listed. Toa Leona is 31, so youngish. What do you think? Do you want to see more former Ring of Honor stars like your Matt Seidels? Or do you want this to go in a more NXT direction, which I think is what they should do?
Yeah, I think going in that direction and mix in some of the former talent, like what we got with with Impact with Kaz and some of the other names, that are on the more still can definitely go and put out a banger side of things, as opposed to just bringing somebody in there who just kind of lugs around and play case on the old days and then gets a title just off historical name recognition alone. So I do think they need to build that up to get some of those young stars to get more people to care about watching. Because it might just be some people that exclusively Ring of Honor fans that just are still hanging on and just exclusively want to watch that stuff. But they do need an infusion of talent because, and hopefully they don't do a thing where they like drain all the quality young talent for the AEW side and then get the guys that'll wash out and put them in Ring of Honor. But you never know. So
I feel like they should go back to the way Ring of Honor was. Because Ring of Honor was producing a lot of guys that are currently in the mid-tier now on bigger promotions. Now, whenever we think about Ring of Honor, we think about guys like Bryan Danielson, Samoa Joe, CM Punk, Nigel McGuinness. But they also produce guys like Ray Rowan Hansen over in WWE as the Viking Raiders. That was a big group for them. The Briscoes, but I mean, everyone knows who the Briscoes are. But I think that's one of the directions they need to go is worry about creating the next mid-tier, mid-card group of guys. Maybe you can develop them further beyond that once they get to AEW television, but so many great mid-card guys in promotions today are from Ring of Honor. And I feel like that's the way to go if you're thinking long-term. Use it as a brand to develop your next big guys. You may not develop the next CM Punk or the next Bryan Danielson. That's okay. But develop the next Mike Bennett. The next Matt Taven. Go in that direction.
yeah, the next if you could, and then these guys are ready. The next Jonathan Gresham.
There you go.
Maybe. Yeah.
Someone needs to sign his ass. Impact. MLW. One of you two fuckers.
Don't say that, because didn't we already get something between Gresham and Alexander?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, you can never get tired. I don't think you get tired of running that back. So, yeah, they need to. That'll be great. Him and his wife.
We'll see who has the deeper voice by the end of next year.
Oh, like runt muscle. I love it.
All right. Speaking of Youngtown, one of the youngest ones in AEW, maybe he's not that young anymore, but one of the guys who is kind of making waves is not MJF, Ricky Starks. He had a big old promo with MJF this past week, and it got everyone talking, buzzing, if you will. There were opinions being had, and it was honestly the best promo I've ever seen Ricky Starks get. The problem is, when I ask who is Ricky Starks, it's a rhetorical question because he's just generic guy still. There is no next step. Like, when you think about true top star guys, there's always something about them that makes them stand out. You had Hulk Hogan's exuberant brother and his stash and his skullet and his orange and yellow. He may be a giant racist cunt, but the dude was unique. Macho Man Randy Savage, he was crazy. Like, his entire shtick was, he's crazy. Who's Ricky Starks? You know, he's a dude who dresses well and says mean things. Okay, you are a dime a 50 dozen. Like, there are a lot of yous. And I feel like if Starks is going to find that next step, he needs to find out more of what he is. Like, think about Orange Cassidy. That dude's gimmick is that he doesn't care. It's a great gimmick. He doesn't ever need to change his gimmick. He will never be outdated. So Starks needs to find that next hook. And I know some people are like, well, MJF's no different. Yeah, and I don't think MJF is a headliner. I don't think Adam Page is a headliner. Although Adam Page at least does have a bit more of a cowboy-esque gimmick that he doesn't really embrace, even though he's not even a real cowboy. I think he's from West Virginia. Or Virginia. Maybe he's from Maine. Spain. Automobile. I don't know. Some of these dudes need better gimmicks. And I feel like Ricky Starks is a dude who needs that gimmick. He needs that shtick, that hook. So, yeah, great promo. Got charisma. But if he's just going to be a random dude with nice clothes that says mean things, it's like, all right, cool, that may have worked in the 80s, but that was 40 years ago. You gotta be a bit more updated. Do you think Ricky Starks can truly be a headlining act at some point in his career?
I think so. I mean, the guy caught my eye the minute I first saw him in NWA. And I was reluctant at first because I'm like, I'm not finna be calling this dude the Stroke Daddy. But yeah, he got a swag, a charisma about himself, man. Of course, of course he smoked on the mic. That's one of his best qualities. And I guess that's saying something in this day and age against somebody like MJF. But yeah, he definitely smoked him on the mic. And like you said, it's one of his best promos, probably some of the best most time that he's gotten to do it. Yeah, I think he got a lot of the tools. Like I said, the charisma, the time he's gotten a lot better, specifically with his passion when it comes to the promos because of stuff he was doing while he was teaming with Powerhouse. But yeah, I just think, like you said, it just needs some more time to develop. I still think he's developing his arsenal right now. He got that Rochambeau and the spear, which it's always weird to me when smaller guys do a spear, like Rey Mysterio doing a spear.
He is not doing a spear now.
Who, Starks?
He's not, is he?
Yeah, he's doing a spear.
He's like 4'2".
Yeah, I know. He was like, I was complaining about the Rochambeau, but I'm like, now you're doing a damn spear. And yet another move that's been held to death. And then not specifically about smaller guys. It's about what and what between that and the damn everybody has a such and such sunrise with Petey Williams finisher. But yeah, I think the guy got the tools, man. I just think more feuds, more matches. I think he go through that Atlantic Championship, maybe the TNT Championship, and get back to the world title. But he's going to give him a hell of a match, but he's not knocking him off right now. Like we talked about before we came on, they've been building MJF for damn near feel like 3 years.
Yeah, and the MJF thing is just...
Yeah.
So I finally looked up the Rochambeau. It's such a deceitful name. Now, for those that don't know, maybe it's of a certain age, but a Rochambeau is literally when you challenge someone to a dick kicking contest, and the first one to fall loses. This is just some kind of weird inverted sky high. Like, you should call it the D-Lo Showbow.
And again, like I was complaining about before, I'm like, he's a smaller guy. He should have something that you can get anybody with. Um, and then I guess he thought about that himself. Like, I need something I can just hit anybody with. Oh, I'll get it, the spear. And I'm like, no.
When in doubt, whip the knee out.
Yeah, heat right on to death. Yeah.
Any type of knee strike is excellent. Could be the Shining Wizard, could be a leaping knee, could be a running knee, could be any knee. So, yeah. I don't know if Ricky Starks will ever be a headliner. He's a very tiny man. Now, I'm not knocking his height. I mean, if he turns sideways, he turns invisible. I would say the man works out and has nice muscles, but I've never seen any. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely convinced that at some point in Powerhouse's Hobbs' life, that he didn't accidentally take off a skin tag, flick it in the garbage, and out came Ricky Starks. Because I don't see anything about him that makes me think, oh yeah, that's a dude who could win a fight. Like, come on. I don't know who's thinner. Chet Holmgren of the NBA Oklahoma City Thunder, who is literally 100 pounds, or Ricky Starks, who's about 103.
I got to do it because you laughed. Hey, Keno, what do you think?
In your dreams, twerp. Yeah, but in my dreams, you'll be about 20 pounds lighter. No, he just said you'll be a little bit thinner. That's what he said. Keno. You cunt.
I learned that from a rat. I know. It's not my fault. At last.
He can be taught. It's a little quiet. Yeah. Too quiet. Wait, no. Well, it was 3. It's a little... What the fuck was it?
Raff.
No. That was the last one, but it was like it's a little deserted. Yeah, a little too deserted. It's a little quiet. Yeah, a little too quiet. Hey, look, it's Raph. Yeah, a little too Raph. I love that movie. I might watch that movie again. I'm taking recommendations from movies. Here's my list so far. I just watched 30 Minutes last night, and that was fucking terrible. Then again, I should have expected anything with Aziz Ansari to not be tolerable. I got Brothers from 2009, The Art of Self-Defense, Sonic 2, Bullet Train, Inherent Vice, Clerks 3, Free Guy, and I may watch Pearl depending on my feelings on the trailer.
Nice. For me, it's Army of Thieves, Top Gun Maverick, The Harder They Fall.
What is The Harder They Fall?
It's a Netflix. It's a black cowboy western on Netflix. With a bunch of big Hollywood names: Regina King,
Zazie Beetz,
freaking.
Okay, no, hang on, Zazie Beetz. That's a name. Like, come on. That's a face too. My goodness.
Yeah, that good. She's stunning. Her and yet another girl we be fighting over. We were neighbors, Natalie Emanuel.
We ain't fighting. You're bowing out.
Oh, you get Daenerys. Well, you get Daenerys.
You can have Daenerys. You can go for it.
Damn it, you. God.
I mean, both of them die.
Yeah, and I mean, at least Daenerys, ended up loving the short man. So, there's that.
That's true. She did love a short man, although not for long. Oh, yeah, how tall is Jon Snow? I feel like Jon Snow is not exactly tall.
What are that? Well, I guess the measurement stick is Tyrion, so.
But she may have loved him, but she was never, he never got the taste, if you will.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you actually could have saved a whole city if you would have because she wouldn't have had time to kill him with the dragon if she was riding you.
I still can't get over the Shay betrayal. Like, I knew it was coming.
The what betrayal?
Shay, when she betrayed Tyrion.
Oh yeah, bro. I always roast that clip. It's one of the greatest acting clips. Like it was like Like, do you have something to say about killing the game? Shout out to the freaking Tywin Lannister. Um, he was like, I have to confess, but I did not do it. He was like, but watching your spawn die brought me more pleasure than 1,000 lying whores. As he looked at.
That's a line. 1,000 lying
Never get
whores.
tired of watching that doggone scene in that courtroom. But yeah, Shay was what she called him, my lion, and then she went with the bigger one, the older lion. I'm sorry.
And because he had told her that he could never marry her because she was a whore. So then she sleeps with his father, and she's like, "What's the matter, my lion? I'm doing what whores do." And I'm like, "Oh."
And then he choked out, and then went and shot his dad on the jaw. Oh,
you know, respect. I would rewatch that show in a heartbeat if it wasn't for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, man, them last two. I thought they did a great job with them first three, minus the Batman is darkness that came with that final fight.
Yeah, as soon as they did the final fight with the shadow, the Night Stalker Walker, whatever the zombies, the frozen zombies. Like, this is the fucking dumbest thing I've ever seen. And there's only like 7 people in the entire fight, and they fought it like that was the thing that really pissed me off. We had the Battle of the Bastards was at least 20,000 dudes. I don't know if that's how many dudes showed up to film. That's how it felt. But then we get like the literal winter. Because they kept saying winter's coming. It's literally winter. There's thousands of thousands of thousands of thousands. And then you have, the big head honcho dude. And it feels like we only saw like 20 dudes fight the entire army. Like they butchered the budget, and it showed.
Well, it's funny because I don't know how many dudes, and most of it was the Dothraki, rolled off with them torches, and then you just saw all the lights go out.
That was a cool scene. That was a very cool scene. I would have been
hauling ass. I'm like, no, ain't no such thing as a quiet, successful Dothraki. Back to the gates.
Ain't no sunshine when he's gone.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I don't know if Ray Stark's gonna be a headliner.
yeah, man. I'm rooting for him, cheering for him. Like I said, I loved watching him tear in the MJF. But yeah, I don't know if he's gonna get past once this is over. Because like I said, I'm not expecting him to. We've seen stranger things happen in wrestling, but I doubt they're gonna do all they've done to get that little twit as the champion to then put it on Starks, who it felt like they've only recently been building up for the last month or so.
Listen, I call people twats, cunts, and all sorts of names, but if Marcus calls you a twit, there ain't no coming back from that. Like, you can at least go, well, Chad swears all the time, but if Marcus calls you a twit,
welcome to my world, Yotes.
I do not dance if I hear music, and I will not be intimidated. I need to watch that movie 5 times in a row so I can remember every single line like I could in middle school.
So you want to be champions. Champions got to pay the price.
The way he enunciates, I don't remember what that coach's name is, but the way that coach enunciates is the best part of the film outside of Bakir's mother. I don't want to get to know him. Jesus Christ, did you spit all over Gary when you're saying that? Opie, what's your mom doing?
Gary, y'all don't come in here.
Wait, what was that line? You had 12 brothers and sisters. I had 8. 12 times better.
Yeah, those are better. I was like, Ralph, you ready to run? Yes, sir. Oh, why are they bringing in a QB?
They're throwing Dave.
Cover Dave. Hey, coach, they've been killing you. Cover all that. You got to draw him in, let him over pursuit. He's on to your game. You got to throw something in him ain't ready for.
Herman, they're kicking my ass out there. I could sure use your help. Hall of Fame mock book, coach. Speaking of Hall of Fame, Sasha Banks ain't going in anytime.
Cheryl, shout, not now, not now. I'm gonna start a show called Heroes one day. Not now.
Oh, God, Hayden Panettiere is so good in that movie, and she's like 9.
Oh man.
And she's got more charisma than half the roster of dudes in that film. I wonder what happened to Boone's daughter, the oldest one.
Yeah, we got to look that up.
I'm sure we've already done it. That should tell you everything you need to know. We clearly didn't find anything worth remembering.
Because it's weird. Because they aged up obviously Hayden Panettiere's thing, but that was of course a different actress naturally.
Mm-hmm. Well, they aged up all 3 of the girls. Because Boone had 2, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 2 daughters. Yeah.
Because the littlest one was adorable.
Yeah.
And then the other one, she was definitely going through her awkward stage. But trust me, I've been going through my awkward stage for 30 years. It's like, I get it. Speaking of awkward stages, let's talk about Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is no more. Mercedes Lewis, was that her name? Mercedes something?
Mercedes Veronato?
Veronato, there you go. She got the Italian going on. I know she's biracial. I don't know if she's bi-Italian, though. Wait, that's not right.
I'm like, what? I'm like, I'll follow you with this logic, but it's not good.
So Sasha Banks no longer in the WWE. She's booked for the Wrestle Kingdom show. Number 17. She will be a part of the Stardom involvement, apparently. That seems to be where it's going, because New Japan does not have a women's division. And I don't think they're going to form a women's division, simply because they're working with Stardom, who is an all-women's promotion in Japan. So I feel like if they started a women's division, that would be counterintuitive to what they're trying to do with Stardom. So it makes sense she'd be with Stardom. Joe Lanza, Voices of Wrestling, has provided more information about Banks' situation, saying that Banks and Bushiroad, the parent company of New Japan and Stardom, began negotiating with her months ago, not long after Banks walked out of WWE, and that there was mutual interest between Banks and Stardom executive Rossi Ogawa in working out a deal. Ultimately, sources noted to Voices of Wrestling that a deal wasn't reached after Banks requested I'm sorry, let me reread that. Sources noted to Voices of Wrestling that a deal wasn't reached after Banks requested an asking price far beyond the budget of Stardom, causing Ogawa to lose interest. Months later, however, Bushido Road President here we go. Takaki that guy. Kidani? I think that's close enough. Would give Ogawa a green light to pursue signing Banks to a deal, leading to what sources describe as a limited appearance deal for Banks that would make her the highest contracted wrestler under the Bushido Road umbrella. The deal would also reportedly dwarf what Chris Jericho was being paid during his run with New Japan years ago. Well, Voice of Wrestling was unable to confirm at this time whether Banks had signed a deal with Bushido Road at this time or not, nor if they have any interest in bringing them in with Naomi for any appearances. Sources did note, however, that bringing in Banks is an attempt by Bushido Road to solidify Stardom as the number 2 wrestling brand in Japan at this time. As such, Voice of Wrestling did confirm that the plans call for Banks to be in a program with the IWGP Women's Championship, which were defended by the current champion Kairi at Wrestle Kingdom 17. Fun factoid, All Japan's getting ready for a mass exodus as well. So that would help kind of bolster Bushido Road's desire to get Stardom as number 2 in the promotion in the country. Plus, we got Noah coming up here with the Muda retirement show. Got a lot of stuff going on. Marcus, are you more interested now to watch Wrestle Kingdom with Sasha Banks possibly showing up as Mercedes Figueroa, Big Newtons? Completely verbose. One of those, right?
It's certainly an added reason. I mean, Wrestle Kingdom is one of them shows that's just so consistent. Even if you don't watch New Japan, I would recommend it to like a proclaimed real wrestling fan, because it's consistently one of the best wrestling shows every year. Kicks off the year with a bang. every time. But yeah, I mean, look, when she went on that sabbatical, uh, was basically was a mental health break that time. Not too long ago, she ended up training, I think, um, in Japan and kind of revitalizing her, her love and honing some of her skills for wrestling. So, I think honestly, I think it's probably something she's been craving for a long time, but she's obviously not really been accessible because she's with the big Kahuna. So, I mean, I think it'll be brilliant if she could pull it. I mean, look, she's been doing everything under the sun: fashion shows, um, photo shoots. I think she recently filmed a movie, all manner of stuff. And I just think this is just on the bucket list to do. So I think we may get a whole different side of it if this is true and it is happening. So definitely something I look forward to, and people can't really blame her. I mean, it's not much that she hasn't done in her very young career in WWE. So this is just her challenging herself with new horizons to me.
So, she has an affinity for anime. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if she has long wanted to go to Japan to wrestle, but considering that she has a huge exorbitant price, probably never thought that it was possible. Now, I will point this out. We very easily could be seeing a partnership with WWE, which would allow Sasha Banks to go there. Because when you see these stories, it's very rarely from the source itself. It's from people around it. So there's a part of me that feels like the way they got Sasha Banks because the WWE doesn't release people who want to be released. That's kind of their MO. I feel like there is a idea out there that could exist where WWE is lending Sasha Banks to New Japan or is working with them to some degree simply because when you look at other news from this week, Carl Anderson's working with New Japan for Wrestle Kingdom 7. He's going to... they didn't say he's going to drop the belt to Hikuleo, but he's dropping the belt to Hikuleo because he hasn't defended the Never Openweight Championship since like October or September. So he's clearly going to drop the belt and move on. But if Carl Anderson's working with New Japan, who's under contract with the WWE, if Shinsuke Nakamura is working with Noah, who's under contract with the WWE, then why do we think that Sasha Banks was granted her release? She may just be working with New Japan via the WWE. Now, I do believe that Sasha Banks was let go, that she got her release, that Triple H was like, all right, let's move on. I don't want any more negativity. I don't want people to be like, yeah, this is terrible. So I'm trying to let you go. I think that's what's happened, but there exists the possibility that there may be more to a potential partnership between the WWE and New Japan via Sasha Banks. If that's the case, that could be very interesting. I also need to point out, however, that the writing underneath Triple H's era has not been much better. It's still boring. The shows still are way too uninteresting, and I do not care about Bray Wyatt in the slightest fucking bit. If you were to tell me that if I liked the Bray Wyatt stuff, I could live another 70 years guaranteed, I would hem and haw and take a long time to decide if I want that.
Hilarious.
It's so boring. So, even though Triple H's stuff hasn't been that much better than Vince's stuff, better, yes, not by much. I do think that some of the edicts with how the company runs are going to be vastly different. We've already seen that. So could this be a subvertive Sasha Banks partnership via WWE and New Japan? Possibly. Is it likely? No. But we'll see how that plays out. I don't really have much more interest to watch New Japan because Sasha Banks is going to be at Wrestle Kingdom, because I was already going to watch Wrestle Kingdom. I'm not now more excited because it's like, all right, fine. We'll see what happens, though. Especially with her, her price tag. Is she going to be worth it if you're Bushido Road? Because, Stardom doesn't have a huge audience that I'm aware of in Japan compared to New Japan. So is she going to make the money necessary for the company to justify her big paycheck? I don't know. That's something we gotta find out. Oh, and by the by, apparently, speaking of contracts that don't make any fucking sense, apparently, when Flip Gordon signed with Ring of Honor, granted, I'm sure it was over like 3 or 4 years, they signed him to $1 million contract. Really? Now, I believe, Marcus, that his contract was for like $250,000 a year or $300,000 a year over 3 years, over 4 years, that kind of thing. But like, still, you're paying Flip Gordon 6 figures a year on $1 million deal. How fucking desperate were you for talent? Can you explain why they got bought?
You really paying that much to Flat Earth Flip? Huh?
So there's a flat earther by the name of Bryce Mitchell. He's a UFC fighter. And he's a guy who a lot of UFC fans like because a lot of UFC fans are on the right. And Bryce Mitchell's about as right as they come. And he's a flat earther. And the guy he fought on Saturday night, it's like, I'm going to smash his head as flat as he thinks the earth is. And then the dude went out and beat Bryce Mitchell and flattened his head as thin as he thought the earth was. So I thought, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I don't like flat earthers. Gay community. Why would I bring up AJ Styles? I don't know. Because he's that guy. Speaking of that guy, let's talk about Ric Flair. He's not just that guy. He is the man. And he's been feuding with Becky Lynch forever over that issue. I've always hated the man gimmick. Or what was Shotzi's? Call her daddy. Like, I hate that. I hate that so much in ways I can't even comprehend intellectually.
Oh, you talking about the Rhea Ripley call her Poppy?
Yeah, I hate that too. I hate it all. I hate it all. Fathers are already marginalized enough in this country and belittled and dismissed. We don't need to keep doing it in these spaces. No, thank you. Zero fun, sir. But Ric Flair is having issues with Mr. Seth Rollins because Seth's husband, Becky Lynch, took Ric Flair's nickname. Now, Ric Flair is feuding with everyone. He's feuding with Eric Bischoff, and Eric Bischoff's like, yeah, Ric Flair wasn't a draw. In all the years with the late 80s and early 90s that he was with the NWA and WCW, they weren't making money with him on top. I had to go get Hulk Hogan to make money. I don't know why Rick is mad about this. This is factual. And, you know, listen, we all know that Ric Flair's a, what are the butthurt little bitch about so many things. He and Bret Hart, man. Jesus Christ. So Seth and Flair have this running issue over the way Flair sees Becky. So when he was asked about when Ric Flair was asked about Seth Rollins, who was the on Sirius XM's Busted Open podcast, they asked him about this. They asked him about Flair and Rollins' wife having beef over the nickname The Man, even to the point where he was asked to hand over his The Man trademark to Lynch. But when brought up the question of how he feels about Seth Rollins, Ric Flair says, Seth Rollins is a damn good worker. He's mad at me because I've been up and down on it with his wife. That sounds freaky. Mark is laughing before I even said it should tell you that there may have been a double entendre there.
Space Mountain rides again. Irish style.
I feel like doing a deep cut voice, but I'm not sure if I'd be doing Rick or Becky. Becky. She's a pretty woman. That voice. Marble mouth. He's mad at me because I've been up and down with his wife, but I don't care. He's good, but he ain't me. I got no problem saying that. He walked right by an autograph session, and I thought, you got to be kidding me. Because you and Becky and this man trademark, you're going to ignore me, pal? Wow. I looked over at The Undertaker, and I said, I guess I'm in timeout. Everybody should take their wife's side in any debate there is. You're going to take their side, and I understand that as long as it's come and gone. But that was a sensitive point for me. Is Ric Flair just a big old bitch at this point?
Yeah, pretty much. He took another man's gimmick.
Yeah, he literally... Nature Boy Buddy Landell.
Like, just come on, bro. Like, stop, man.
No, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. I'm sorry. Nature Boy
like, come on, man.
Buddy Rogers. He took another man's gimmick. I'm pretty sure he took the figure 4 from someone too.
Like, look, man, nothing, rather anything ever is new in this business. Um, and I get it. He built his real life person around a fictional character to the point where the line is forever blurred now. Not even blurred. He basically is, has lived out his gimmick. And has probably almost died as many times as he is allegedly a world champion.
Just this year alone.
Yeah. Which they're actually coming out with a docu on Peacock about. But
you got to watch out about that brand name streaming service with Ric Flair.
Yeah, it's just salty grapes to me. And I don't know. Like, look, this is no Seth Rollins cheer camp here. But he getting points again tonight because it's like, look, man, you don't, even if he, ain't as intense about it when it comes to his wife. That's his wife.
Mm-hmm.
What he gonna do? He gonna not defend her in public? That's really some whole stuff, man. Like, so I don't see how he could be like, you could be half salty grapes about it, whatever, but don't look at Seth like he's stupid. Like if somebody didn't say nothing about Charlotte or one of your 10 wives or current wife, and then 9 exes, that you wouldn't be feeling away. So now, and I don't know if it's the fact that it's the man thing or it's the fact that it's Becky that's doing it. Because I feel like maybe if it's another person, we see how stuff go with their company, or not that company. I should say some of these old heads, if you will. It's who they like more, right? So maybe it's one of your things like that. I want to like your itis thing. Maybe if it's some young lady that he liked more, somebody that he saw more of himself in, or maybe somebody that didn't get into it with his daughter over real life issues. Yeah, maybe you feel a different. Yeah,
I think you're dead on, Marcus. The issues with Becky and Charlotte, I think, are the reason why he doesn't like that Becky's using the nickname. That, and he's an egotistical prick.
Yeah.
And I'm no fan of Seth or Becky or Charlotte or Rick. So I have no dog in this fight. But Rick is coming off as a cantankerous old fool. Just like Bret Hart. Fucking feuding with everybody. Because they're mad at the world because they're getting old.
Yeah, it's like you ain't got no dog in this fight, but you're clearly the one who likes to shit on people's lawns and think you're doing them a favor.
Pretty much. That's fair. Speaking of fair, William Regal's going to the WWE as vice president. I didn't know he was running for office. Congratulations. We don't actually know what his vice president's role is going to include, though he was the head of foreign talent recruitment his last time around. He's apparently banned from appearing on WWE television as part of his release until 2024, though I don't know how true that is. Marcus, Regal in WWE as a vice president, do you think this is a big acquisition, or do you think it's just Triple H bringing in guys he likes? Because personally, as good as Regal is, I do not see him being so irreplaceable in this role that somebody else couldn't do it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mind that he's getting the job because he does have experience working in the office.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see this being like, if you fire, Cleveland Guardians manager Terry Francona, you're going to have a hard fucking time replacing him.
Yeah.
If you fire Cleveland Guardians first base coach,
Sounds just like Two-Face. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything, man. I don't want to say because obviously the position itself, what you would imagine has some weight behind it, but it does sound like one of those situations where it's like, oh, he's starring in the movie and he's an executive producer.
So he's basically Clint Eastwood in what was that, Gran Torino?
Yeah, pretty much. Because look, the thing about William Regal, he's the perfect guy to have around. To help guys the development. Like they got a good, I think backstage would be like they got Jamie Noble back there, Tyson Kidd, some other names that talent trusts that have those guys' best interests, that aren't trying to hog the spotlight for themselves or live vicariously through these guys. And I think William Regal is the top of that crop. I mean, I put him in the tiers with guys like Fit Finley, who these are guys that you just want around, period. To pass on some wisdom. Obviously we seen what he did for the Blackpool Fight Club. Um, I just think he could be a tremendous help to a lot of people. And if you put him in a business sense, because no way you're going to have that guy around for as long as he's been around and him not know how to move business. So if Triple H needs him to kind of go around and do what maybe he used to do to some of these places and smooth and talk and scout talent, he's also a guy that can do that. I mean, he's certainly somebody that can scout talent, if nothing else. So I think, he wanted to bring Regal back in, shows appreciation with a improved position, which I think really comes about with the payday of it all. And then obviously, I think that's just somebody that you wanted to get back there. I think a lot of people was purposely thrown through the cracks when the old man was still there that Triple H did not agree with. And clearly, because he's brought a lot of people back. And I think Regal is one of those people who I don't even think, like I said before, we talked last week, I don't even think he wanted to leave.
No.
But it's just one of those situations where the madman was mad manning, and he saw an opportunity. And to Regal's credit, he talked about it like he said that he saw an opportunity to go to AEW. He went to Vince about it. And not only did he give him his blessing to do it, he kept paying him throughout his contract. So I think Regal said he was the only person that's ever been on the AEW roster that was still getting paid from WWE. So that's cool. But I think that was just a very weird time there, and it was more exciting to go to AEW. And now with Triple H, like you said, it ain't moons better, but it ain't exactly like the ball was high. So it's an improvement, but it ain't where it could be. But I think it could be. It certainly could improve with Regal coming back. So we'll see.
There's so many pieces when doing this thing called wrestling. It's very much, and I use baseball because it's a very accurate, apropos one-to-one. With baseball, if you have one bad player, it doesn't inherently show up until that area gets affected. If you have a bad second baseman and you don't hit any balls to him, you don't know he's a bad second baseman. But then once you start hitting balls to him, all of a sudden he can't field or throw, and then it's like, oh shit, we're fucked. But when you have a good team, individually, it doesn't look like you have a good team because you just have a player. But when you have 9 of them playing together, hitting well, fielding well, pitching well, all of a sudden you have a great team. And that's a very apropos analogy for the WWE and wrestling as a whole. You're not going to have an individual like William Regal who's going to take over and control the company and make it so good on his own. Same with Triple H. Same with Jeremy Borash, Chris Park, whoever. But if you get the right guys in the right positions with the right ideologies, the right beliefs, and the right work temperaments, you have the opportunity to do something with this group that could be great. The problem is, I don't know if Triple H has the foresight and the chutzpah needed to really make this a different, more agreeable brand, simply because a lot of what the WWE still is still what Vince made it. If you're going to change the direction of the company, it needs to be more than just who you hire and who you book. Because there are still so many issues that they're dealing with now that they've been dealing with before Vince left, like lingering plot threads, storylines that don't go anywhere, guys who are being used and misused, guys who are popping up and disappearing, like Emma. She popped up, and I haven't heard anything about her until I watched this week because they were doing the Kurt Angle special. So I was like, all right, I'll tune in to see Kurt Angle. And then she was in a backstage segment. And then I remember that Shinsuke Nakamura still worked there because I saw him in a backstage segment. And they're still doing the stupid fucking shit with Chad Gable and the shoosh. And it's not working. Like, these people aren't over, but they keep putting them out there. And it's like, if Triple H really was this genius that everyone called him as, these issues would be addressed, but they're not. Like Bray Wyatt, we're 12 weeks in, 10 weeks in, and we've gotten 0 development yet. And don't sit here and tell me about the long haul or the long con or that it takes time. It doesn't take this much fucking time. Like, this shit should have been all been on the table by Survivor Series. And yet, like, we're just now getting more stuff with Alexa Bliss possibly joining up a brand. It's like, all right, that's fine, but why is it 3 months later that we're finally getting it? You know, and this is an issue, and this is the issues that we had with NXT when he was running it. A lot of stuff was well liked by the hardcore fan base, but it wasn't moving the needle. Can Triple H actually move the needle? We're going to find out. We're definitely going to find out.
And we saying all this about building a team, and freaking Michael P.S. Hayes still watched. Oh,
that man is a disaster zone.
Oh, and that's just his dress. We ain't even talking. We ain't got to his character yet.
His dress, his character, his hair, that hair.
God, yikes. He's like always in Halloween mode. Jesus.
So, speaking of Halloween mode, let's talk about Sanjay Dutt. Don't say fat in my house. That's an actual quote from him. He doesn't let his kids say fat in his house because he's fucking weird. So apparently he left the WWE because he was only being given one match to produce a week, and that was all he was being asked to do. And I'm sitting here thinking, Marcus, can I get that job? Hey, you need to produce a 12-minute match on Raw. Then what? I don't know. Go home. I get paid full price for that? Yep. Like 6 figures a year. Yeah.
You can see that. Can you get that email subject line, overpaid and underworked?
We're like underworked and overpaid. Hey, I'm doing the Brock Lesnar match. Brock, 16 German suplexes, F5, go home. Okay. See you guys tomorrow. Oh, wait, never mind. No, see you guys next week.
Now, you tell me if I'm asking too much. Now, could you squeeze a Kimura in there? Just,
Not even a Kimura. Can you just squeeze your bicep? Flex. Hit a flex. Maybe taunt Paul Heyman. Maybe do the Brock stop. Where you got the boom box and he's got the one step. I'm going to call it the Brock stop. I feel like it's a good nickname. Marcus, best job ever producing one match.
Look, I get it. You got ambition. You in a big company. You think you want to come in and do some big things, particularly with that level of talent. I get it, because at this point it might not be about the money for him. So I can understand if you want to go somewhere to push those creative limits. I remember when obviously we got another regime change with Impact, with this final one with
I was about to say Jim Cornette, Scott D'Amore.
Scott D'Amore, and when he was still with the company, I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, with Kenny Omega, but
Sami Callihan, Rich Swann.
No, Omega's manager.
Don Callis.
Yeah, Don Callis. With D'Amore Callis, and Jimmy Jacobs was picking up he was carrying a lot of these storylines. And having write a lot, and you talked about like it's a lot of work coming up with, weekly TV and stuff, and trying to be consistent and trying to be innovative and then keep things fresh. And I think they kind of expanded that writing team. Obviously, he's still there, but it's not for everybody. So I think if he wants to take on a bigger workload, I commend him for that. But maybe it's just that they don't. Maybe he sees more in his work than they do. Maybe that, they might be a different flavor, but yeah, I mean, I can't be mad, to your point about, kind of laying back and doing my work and getting a big payday, because I was watching Raw tonight. I was like, I got to commend somebody like Tozawa for surviving as long as he has. Because it's not easy to do. A lot of bus flips and whatnot, and it's easy to kind of sit back and get frustrated in catering, but a lot of guys can ride those waves out. Maybe he's just not one of those guys. I can't knock him for being ambitious though. If you know what you're worth and you know what you're capable of, the phrase goes, everybody like doing what they're good at. So,
Every time they do the hallway sweep for firings, Akira just jumps into a trash can and hides.
In his mind, they probably still doing a 24-hour, 24/7 title stick. Which sucks because the minute that thing's going in the trash, we've again gotten a reduced amount of R-Truth, which is just sad.
Isn't he hurt though?
I don't know. I gotta check on that. He
I
might
think
be.
he's hurt.
He might be right. Oh, he did have some type of surgery. I want to say he had some type of surgery.
Speaking of hurt, apparently Matt Riddle found a new way to hurt himself. Apparently,
that upstanding citizen.
Well, that's ironic that you went there. Apparently, Matt Riddle was given a Jeff Hardy ultimatum: go to rehab or be fired. According to Cassie Haynes of Body Slam, reports state that Riddle failed a drug test ahead of WWE SummerSlam, which was why his scheduled match against Seth Rollins at the show was postponed. Haynes noted that this was the last drug test under Vince McMahon's regime, and once Triple H took over, the company took a new creative direction with Riddle. WWE reportedly informed Riddle at the time that he would be dealing with a rehab or fired situation like Jeff Hardy previously faced if he failed another drug test. Shockingly enough, Haynes writes that Riddle was written off the TV TV on December 5th episode of Raw due to the aforementioned failed drug test again, a second failed drug test in 1 year. The belief is that he has already entered rehab or will do so soon. WWE announced that Riddle will be out of action due to his injury from Solo Sikoa for 6 weeks. The company no longer tests for marijuana, so there's currently no word on what Riddle failed for. Shocking. The guy who was accused of sexually assaulting a woman, apparently having tit-a-tats with fans of an ill repute nature when he was married, his wife divorcing him and taking the kids across the country to get away from him. It's almost like Matt Riddle isn't the good guy in any of these situations that fans begged him to be for years. Shocked.
No.
Marcus,
bro.
This is my shocked face. I mean, you can't see it, but you can. You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, bro, you won't even know if I've completed the program. Like, if he comes back here with shoes, he worked the program. If he doesn't,
I mean,
again, it's weird because we're talking about this cat, and all he's doing in all these instances when we talk about him is making somebody that we don't cheer on for, like Seth, look better. It's like for all the criticism that Seth has rightfully garnered over the years.
He fucked a Nazi, Marcus. I mean, we're never gonna let that go.
For all the flack that he deservedly gets, he's not getting caught slipping like that
Anymore.
because he's
his ex-fiance would have a different feeling, I'm sure.
And Caitlin's ex, I guess. But
oh yeah, forgot about that.
You want to see my job?
No, you be quiet.
But yeah, I mean, you got to get it together. I mean, I get it. Like, he's a natural weed head, and they've obviously played into that thing. But that's not. I don't know. We haven't had somebody pop for that in a long time.
Because they don't test for it anymore.
Which is also weird because that was the whole thing. But I guess because it's been legalized, and then obviously you can get a medical whole thing for it and whatnot. So, but apparently he's taking it too far. So
I wouldn't be surprised if it's pain pills, like, at all. But who knows?
Yeah, it might be pain pills, antidepressants. I mean, look, we talked about it before the show. Rollins, called him out for just got through talking about somebody else who had a very hard time that is no longer with us, coming from a divorce situation or going through a divorce situation.
Mm-hmm.
And he could very much be going through the same thing. I mean, hell, talk somebody else we talked about. Wyatt. Not too different. It's always grass always greener till you got the mower, and then you think you got stuff on lock, you think stuff can't be moved or shifted or taken away from you, then you look up one day and you're sitting in an empty house wondering what in the hell happened. So
I too was very emotionally distraught at the end of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air series finale.
Hey, who cut off the lights? Definitely gonna miss you, see. But yeah. So
we'll see what happens. That's all you can do half the time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap it there. RealNerdCorp.com. REALNERDCORP.com. We're on Twitter at NERDCRP. If you like Marcus, you can find him on Twitter at ParadoxKid, PARADOXKID. I know you like his voice, so go follow his other podcast, The True Penny Show, TRUEPENNYSHOW. What did you guys talk about this week? Gleet?
Yeah, I mean, you can catch up on that. Obviously, the man behind the show himself, James Truepenny, has been covering all the nights of Tag League, and he got some other stuff on there too. So there's a bunch of stuff to catch up on. Go check it out.
Go check that out on Twitter, at the Twitter account, TRUEPENNYSHOW. All of the links to their shows are up there. They tweet them out. So it's very easy to follow, as long as you ignore all the Elon Musk nonsense. You can also find me on Twitter, if you like my voice, which I know you don't. I see my follower account. Chad Nerdcorp, CHADNERDCORP. Please be nice to me if you tweet at me. Also on the Instagram at Chad's Photo at CHADSPHOTOHUT. You can check me out there. Yeah, so we'll be back maybe next week, maybe not. We are going to be doing our year-end conversation on who's going to be up for the awards for this year. So that might be tomorrow. Not tomorrow. It might be next Monday or the Monday after that. So we'll let you know. I don't know if we're doing a marathon this year. We don't have the crew anymore to do so. So it doesn't make any sense. But we may do a show on New Year's Eve. Who knows?
Yeah, man. As y'all know, me and Chad go for hours about most things.
Maybe we'll just go for hours on Twitch and just talk about whatever.
Yeah,
we'll broadcast the whole thing just as a conversation.
Exactly. But definitely be on the lookout. We're gonna sit down and cipher through these end of year awards. Thankfully, it's a lot of stuff, to go through. Preferably out of Impact, so I'm happy about that. We like to give credit across the industry. We're not, not the freaking Pro Wrestling Illustrated that just like that. Or whoever does that freaking list every year that turns things
top secret. You're right. It was PWI. You're good.
Yeah, Pro Wrestling Illustrated. So, we like to give, credit across the industry to men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're those guys. So be on the lookout for that.
So that we'll let you guys know when we do that. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. Remember, as always, to watch more wrestling. And Marcus, take me home, country road.
Good night, me.